Oh, I'm a big fan.
All right. Thanks again, Laura, for doing this. How are you today?
Pretty good.
Doing good?
Yeah.
How was school today?
It was good.
What was?
We had a test.
Oh,
Two
in what?
tests. In science and history.
And how do you think you did?
I studied a lot, so I think I did pretty good. I
Oh,
hope
okay.
I did good.
That's cool. Do you happen to have a favorite subject in school?
Probably history.
Oh, I love history.
Yeah, I'm doing pre-AP history this year, and it's a lot more fun this year because we get to learn more. So.
Yeah. And what grade are you in again?
7th.
Oh, you're in 7th grade. And yeah, I love history. My daughter is 13, and she doesn't like history.
Ah.
But I love history. What's the most important thing about history?
Well, history kind of repeats itself, so.
Hey, Laura, you're so smart.
Yeah.
That's right. And so I forget how the exact saying goes, but you're doomed to repeat yourself if you don't know the history, right?
Yeah.
And now it's so important, especially these days. So let's talk a little bit about soccer. Does that sound good?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember the first time that you touched a soccer ball?
Probably around 3 or 4, just
Uh-huh.
because I would play with my older sibling, my older brother, when
Yeah.
he played soccer, and I started playing when I was like 6.
Oh, okay. How old is your brother?
My older brother is 15.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I have,
And you have just the one?
I have 3 other brothers and a little sister.
And a little sister, too.
Yeah.
Do they all play soccer? Or?
No, my little brother plays soccer, and my older brother plays soccer.
Oh, okay.
My, 2 other older brothers did motorcycle racing.
Oh, interesting. Oh, okay. And did you learn a lot from them, or?
Some stuff from my older brother, but not really anything from my other 2 brothers, because
Right.
we don't have a lot of common.
Okay.
Motorcycle racing is a lot different from soccer.
Exactly. And do they, the brothers who play soccer, do they play for Placer as well?
My older brother does not. My little brother does.
Oh, where does your older brother play?
He just plays rec.
Oh, okay. In what, the Roseville, Rockland area?
Yeah, Roseville.
Is that where you live as well?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Well, Roseville.
Roosevelt, Lincoln. Oh, okay. Do you happen to remember the name of the first team you played for?
It was a rec team. We were the Sprites.
Oh, the Sprites.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Did you stay with them for a while, or?
Yeah, it was a couple years, and then I moved on to. I played Roseville Comp 1 year, and then I played on another rec team, and then I came to Western.
Oh, okay. Very cool. Do you happen to have a favorite player in soccer?
I like a couple players on the USA women's team
Yeah, me
because
too.
they're really good. I like Alex Morgan and Carly Lloyd, and other players too. But those are the 2 main 2.
What do you in particular like about those two?
Well, it's just cool to see how they play and how they work really hard
Yeah.
for what they do. So.
Oh, okay. And so neither of them play the position you play, though, I guess, right? What position do you play on my team?
I play center defense.
Okay.
And have for a couple years.
Oh, okay. And do you like that?
Yeah, it's my favorite position that I've played.
Tell me something about why it makes you happy or why you like it.
It's just, I like being in the back of the field, being able to see everything and have everything in front of me.
Yeah.
Instead of being in the very front, having things behind me or like in front and behind me for the mid. So.
Yeah, that makes sense because now you can sort of see the whole
Yeah.
field. And what else? Anything else you can think of?
Well, I just like how the defense is all connected all the
Mhm.
time. You can always shift over and you have people layering and
Right.
it's very connected.
Yeah. Are there other positions on the field that remind you of that, or is it completely unique?
No, it's not completely unique. Sometimes the 2 midfielders, the 8s, the 8 and the 10,
Yeah.
they're most of the time either connected or layered like me and the other center fielder. So.
Right. Okay. So last year, you guys played 9v9,
Yes.
and so this year it's 11v11. Have you noticed any differences between those two?
Well, it's easier to find the width. It's easier to find the width and have other players on the width. Because last year I don't remember being able to do that as much.
Yeah.
So, and there's always people running down the sides that can always put it back in the middle. So I think that's better with more players.
Oh, okay. And what about the width and length of the field and the size of the goal? Is that just all? Is it intimidating? Is it just something that's just how soccer is?
A
Or?
couple years ago, I thought it was intimidating, and it was kind of weird thinking about how I would be there
Yeah.
in a couple years.
Yep.
But going from last year to this year doesn't feel as different as it did like a couple years ago. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe with the additional players, it all
Yeah.
sort of evens itself out.
Yeah.
So just reflecting upon your current team or past team, what do you look for in a teammate? Like, what do you expect from a teammate, and then what do they expect from you? Would you say?
For a teammate, I would hope that they had like, if you try to give them constructive criticism, they wouldn't take it the wrong way. They'd take it willingly, and I try to do that too. And they're always working to get better, and they'd expect the same thing from me.
Oh, okay. Can you tell me just a little bit more about that? Maybe even a personal experience that you faced, or
Let's see. I've had teammates in the past that don't like to try to help when they don't like it when you try to help them.
right?
And so I've always tried to be good at that myself, being able to take the criticism well, and trying to find people that do take it
Right.
well, I guess.
Right. Maybe do you think it might be because you are the same age as them and they expect that to come from the coach more? Is that why they're doing that? Or maybe they just...
I think that's how it's been in the past, where they just expect that from the coach, not the
Right.
player.
And how do you feel about that?
Well, I don't think that's true. Like, I don't mind if it's from the coach or other players, but
Right.
yeah.
And then what about your position on the field being a center defender? Is that someone who maybe needs to take a leadership role in that type of thing?
Yeah, because they're very close to the goalie, and the goalie's the ultimate leader, and then the center defenders have to be loud and lead the other team too.
Right. And maybe it comes back to what you were saying is you have that vision.
Yeah.
Right. And so when you're offering feedback.
Yeah.
I think that's a really, really good point. And I expect that from my whole team, but from my center defenders and my goalie as well. And I try to articulate that to the team. So, okay, so you just told me what you expect from teammates and what they can expect from you. What about your coach? What do you expect of your coach?
To be able to give you, give you constructive criticism, because I really appreciate when they do that. Sometimes I've had coaches in the past that don't try to help you. They just keep teaching you the same things, and that doesn't really help you get better.
Right.
So I like it when they give you stuff to work on, and they push you and make sure you're always working hard, and if you're slacking off, they're on top of the players.
Okay. And if you had a coach who wasn't doing that, what approach would you take to maybe correct that?
Sometimes I would try to help a little bit myself towards the other teammates, but again, sometimes they don't necessarily like that. I've had a team like that where the coach didn't really give them constructive criticism, and when I would try to, they didn't really appreciate it.
Right.
So it was kind of hard to figure out a way to help
Right.
in that way.
And then what about though you? So let's say you have some things to work on, but the coach isn't me or whoever it might be, hasn't given you any specific feedback. What approach would you take to fix that?
Maybe go to another coach, or like maybe I've had in the past that has done that well,
Right.
or another coach like in the club maybe, or like a sibling that plays soccer that knows what they're doing, or another teammate you've had or have that could help you.
Oh, okay. And then what about approaching that coach and having a conversation with him or her? Would you feel comfortable doing that?
It would be a little weird for me, but maybe just asking them if there's anything you could work on. Because then they realize, that you would appreciate that, so then they might start doing it better.
Right. Have I been doing
Yes.
that for you?
Yeah,
Okay.
and I really appreciate that.
Wonderful. So speaking of all those things, what is something you would like to improve?
I have some foot skills, but as a defender, I mean, you can use them, but you don't use them as much as the midfielders and forwards, so I'd like to work on that a bit more.
Right.
And let's see. There are a couple of other smaller things that just trying to think, exactly where you should be different in different times of the game, like when the ball's over here, make sure you're around this space, or when a player's over here, make sure you're right on that player.
Right.
Sometimes in a situation I don't exactly know what to do. I just try to figure it out as the ball's moving.
Right.
So,
Oh, okay. And do you think that a 5 and a 4, you mentioned you want to improve your foot skills, but maybe they don't use them quite as much as maybe the midfield or the forwards. Do you think that it has to be that way?
no, I don't think it has to be that way. It's just as of right now, I can't do it as good as the forwards and midfielders.
Right.
So I would like to do that better, and then I can do it.
Then you, oh, okay, that's wonderful. Okay, well, we can definitely work on that. Let's see. Let me cover that. Oh yeah, this is what I wanted to ask you. Are there any words that inspire you either before a game or during halftime or maybe something even after the game that you would reflect upon? What is your mindset before the game starts? Do you want sort of these words of inspiration from a coach and teammates, or are you in your own head and you kind of have it figured out and you want to prepare in that way?
When a coach or a teammates are like saying stuff like, "You got this. Just remember to do this and this and this," it doesn't always help me as much as just going over it in my own mind.
Yeah.
And during halftime and like after the game, I always like to know the things that I can improve on, so that way I can apply them to the game, the rest of the game, or the practice or the next game if it was after.
Oh, okay. That's wonderful. Okay, so now you are 12 years old?
Yes.
12 years old. Where do you see yourself next year, the year after, and year after from a soccer standpoint? What's your sort of long-term goals or even short-term goals?
I really like playing soccer, but it's not what I want to do when I grow up.
Okay.
It's just fun for me now
Yeah.
and probably high school age.
Yeah.
And I also like playing softball, so I would have to juggle between both those sports, and I'm not sure exactly which one I'd want to do more.
Right.
Go on with longer. So definitely like 1 or 2 more years of soccer, and then I'd have to decide which sport or if I want to keep playing sports.
Okay, because right now you can sort of do both,
Yeah,
and then eventually you think that it's going to have to, a decision will have to be made. Okay.
especially in high school with more schoolwork and stuff, having to focus on school more.
Yeah.
It'll be a bit harder. So.
Okay. Where do you play softball right now?
I don't play softball right now, but I'm gonna play again. I played the last time I played was a couple years ago, and I ended up stopping because my teammates weren't. I had to stay on the same team, and the teammates didn't work as hard,
Oh.
and they didn't. It didn't really seem like they wanted to play, so it wasn't really fun for me anymore. So then I just played soccer because that was what was fun, and that was who was working the hardest. But
Right.
I want to play softball again because the people who are still playing, I feel like, are the ones who really want to play, not just when I was younger.
That's a really good point. Yeah, then it happens with age. You know, eventually those who are still around, obviously,
Yeah.
you know, they want to be there. Okay. All right, well, I really appreciate this, Laura.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Anything else you want to add?
No.
No? Okay. Wave at your dad. Hi, Mike. Thanks for coming.
Thank
All right, thanks,
you
Laura.
for choosing me.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much.